First Dibs question of the day, sponsored by Trantolo and Trantolo, celebrating 85 years of their family helping your family. So get a hold of Trantolo and Trantolo. Just dial 844-999-9999 to get a hold of some of the locations. Hartford, Waterbury, Bridgeport, New Haven, Torrington. A couple new ones in the Long Island area of Riverhead and Melville. So get a hold of Trantolo and Trantolo today if you've personally been injured in any way, shape, or form. First Dibs question. Oh, my God. Who will Miami miss more, Tyreek Hill or Jimmy Butler?
So Tyreek Hill, as you were explaining a little bit ago, he said he wants to stay in Miami now.
Yeah,
now he's totally leave. Changed his
but
tune.
But he said that the situation in the final game was unacceptable. Cannot get beat by those jabronis in New York.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing.
I don't know about anyone in Miami that's really going to miss Tyreek Hill more than they would miss Butler.
Cops.
Yeah, they love each other.
Woo!
I mean, they're best friends.
5-0. They're like, man, Tyreek's leaving town. Damn it.
I think both franchises are going to work out if they are getting rid of these guys. So Jimmy Butler has said that he wants out, much like Tyreek Hill, but nothing has really been said one way or another. It does look like the Miami Heat are going to move on past Jimmy Butler. And I think for both these guys, the price tag is very rich and the stock is about as high as it can get. I don't know if Jimmy Butler's stock is going to get any higher. I think that stock's going to start depreciating. And Tyreek Hill, speed kills, but the older you get, the slower you get. And I think you can get a significant haul for both guys and clear some cap room on both rosters.
Shouldn't his stock fall a little bit, Jimmy Butler? I mean, if you can't work with Spoelstra,
Minnesota,
you can't work with
76ers.
Spoelstra, you can't work with Pat Riley,
Tom Thibodeau.
Kurt,
Thibodeau.
You're talking about,
actual accountability.
Listen, James Harden.
That's a good point.
Kevin Durant, all of these guys, man, it's about ego.
And that's why they suck.
That's why a lot of people aren't watching the NBA right now. They're tired of those shenanigans.
True.
When the tough times hit, you want out. And it's like most guys would be like, listen, now we got to really, tighten it up here and play better. No, some of these guys are like, I don't want to play.
I think this will be great for Miami. I think they could make a deal. Trade deadline still about a month away.
You can get some stuff for Jimmy Butler.
Definitely can get some stuff. Plus, it's $50 million a year for this guy. $50 million. And I understand that someone else is going to eat up that, what do we call it, max deal in the NBA, but still. Like, man, that's a lot of coin to save. Plus, you're going to – if you don't want to be there, it is very hard for you to continue going forward as a teammate.
Yep.
And it's just, what are you going to get out of both of these guys? I know Tyreek Hill's talking about that today, but I've always been told when adversity hurts or when adversity hits, you find out who a person really is. And I think adversity has hit these guys, and you find out that these guys are ones that are going to sell the team out and going to fly away to someone else. It's better to get rid of them now instead of suffering some kind of pain in the next couple of years, paying these people to be a nuisance in the locker room. I say get rid of them.
All right, so some of the different analysts here in the NBA that I'm following on X and Instagram all say the same thing. He's not going to extend with any team either. So you can trade him, but he's not going to stay. So that's another problem of trying to move this guy. He's so moody that, okay, you may trade me to one of them's Milwaukee Bucks, another one's Memphis Grizzlies. And it's like, now you're like, okay, and I'm sure he's probably got some kind of no trade baloney in there. And this is the problem that happened years ago when the owners gave these guys the kind of power, the load management power, okay, we'll change the scheduling. I honestly think the last time the NBA was amazing was the shortened season, 66 games. They were playing 4 or 5 games a week. Was just amazing. It was intense. They were fired up. They needed to win the fans back, and they cared. And now it's all about, and I've said this as long as we've been working together, branding. It's all about the Nike shoes. It's all about, how I look showing up for the game. It's all about, how I look leaving the game. It's not about playing the game anymore. These guys are worried about the dollars. And when that's your only motivation, not rings, not legacy, none of that stuff, you're in trouble. And so, the younger guys are hungry. They're playing hard. So if you look around the NBA, those are the guys you're going to follow right now. But if I'm a fan of Jimmy Butler or a teammate of Jimmy Butler, today I'm asking myself why. Why do I care? Jimmy Butler doesn't care about me. talking about teammates, even the fan base. Jimmy just wants to make Jimmy happy. Right now, he's not happy in Miami. So, but now you're making it even tougher for Miami to move you because you're saying, nope, you can't talk to me about an extension. I'm just a rental piece. I'd be like, go pound sand. I have heard people say, send this guy home, but you're giving him what he wants. He doesn't want to play for you. What are you going to do? You're going to give him his ball and let him take his ball and go home? No. Dude, get your ass out there and play or sit on the bench or you're not going to earn your thing. The one thing I used to like about MLB is they would try to void your contract when you did this.
This is the problem. Point.
The NBA never tries to void these guys' contracts. They give in all the time.
And it's tough when you're sitting there paying that check and you could trade him for something that actually will benefit your team. That's why I think this is going to happen. The one thing that soured me on Jimmy Butler was his explanation. And it's like, I have no joy playing basketball in Miami anymore.
Quit.
Love outside Miami, outside the basketball court, but right now I do not have joy. And he was asked, do you think you can ever get that joy back in Miami? No, I don't think so. And it's like, man, you're getting paid $50 million. Yeah, I think he's at 36 or 37 for this year. Whatever, man. It's basically $1 million.
But if you kick in his endorsements, he's probably making closer to 100.
But the history of him being on this team, when they won and went to the finals in the bubble, like they were a bad team and they made it happen. When they just made that run in the Eastern Conference Finals, weren't they a 9 seed or something like that? Like, I don't understand where this guy's coming from as far as the history that he has seen this group of guys that he is with actually make runs in the second half of the seasons. I don't know. I could be on his side and argue they have not done much in free agency or trade deadlines in the last 3 or 4 years to couple this guy with the superstar. But gosh, man, it feels like that's what it's all about. Like, unless you make my team a super team, then you're not doing anything for me.
9.9 million followers are on his every word on Instagram.
Yeah.
His quote is, what I don't have, I don't need. Don't know what that means, but again, when you're playing to a different fan base of social media knuckleheads and not the fan base of the NBA fans, you got issues. I mean, Antonio Brown did this stuff, and he only had 1 million followers, and he used to play to them because they're most of them probably know. It's like Howard Stern. Howard Stern's like got 20 million people. He's like 19 million don't like me, but at least they listen. That's the way these people's attitude. They've been brought up in the social media world where they think that's their world, not the reality of, I have a job. I have guys who depend on me. I'm the best guy on this team. I should be a leader. Does he do any of that stuff? No, you need to lead these other grown men. So, you haven't even won a championship. That should be what you're playing for now at 35 years old.
And that's his argument, is that he wants to win a championship and he's being wasted by the Miami Heat in order to make that happen. But like Kurt brought up, this is a pattern with this guy. As much as I love him and how hard he can play at times.
When he just took off on the team and started, he took a road trip. I'm just going to get out of here. I mean,
I remember when Chicago,
I don't forget any of that stuff.
When Chicago moved him, he told everybody in Minnesota, circle those dates with the Bulls. Then less than a year later, he didn't like how practice was going and forced himself over to the 76ers. And then they had a run and a couple of bounces on the rim from Kawhi Leonard sent that team packing. Then as soon as that ball went down through the hoop, he wanted out of there. Got to Miami. He was all happy and joyful playing basketball there. But now the pattern has returned where this guy's not satisfied. They will miss him in Miami because they did have some great days, some great wins, some Eastern Conference titles, but they're going to get a lot more for him. Giving him away, getting something in return, not paying for that act, and not having that in the locker room.
Boy, they were all smiles back in 2020.
Wasn't that long ago.
This was his quote. We've been underdogs our entire life. Everybody up in here got a chip on their shoulder, but you didn't win.
I know. And that's...
Would you be happy today 5 years later if you had one? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know what drives some of these guys some days. All right, when we come back, hot stove. Well, at least my Reds traded for Gavin Lux, so they've got a guy with a World Series ring
doing something.
Coming into their locker room. So they're doing something. I like that guy's game. So we've got a lot of stuff, some trades, some almost signings. And where is Roki? I haven't heard from Roki in a while.
Man.